I'm gonna tell you my hottest take about living with roommates. Never, ever live with someone that you were friends with before y'all moved in together. I'm sorry, I don't care how much you love that person. I don't care if they're your bestest friend in the entire world. Just because y'all are good together as friends does not mean you will be good together as roommates. Being a good roommate requires establishing boundaries. The reality is a lot of you do not know how to establish boundaries in your friendships, let alone in a living situation. And living together really requires a lot of communication, boundary setting, etc., etc. Living with your best friend, living with your friend is the fastest way to lose them as a friend. I'm not just saying this because it's my opinion from thin air. This is something that I never learned the hard way, thankfully, but it's something that I saw time and time again at multiple different steps in my life. People that came in that were best friends, bestest friends, and then they left not talking to each other. And I'm not saying that there aren't any friends that I saw living together that stayed friends. That's not, just because there's a rule doesn't mean there are never exceptions. But do you really want to find out if you were the rule or the exception?
Guys, one thing I don't recommend for those that are trying to move out, those that are planning to do independent, no rules, no more strict parents, do not move in with your friends. Guys, I did this. I can't stand my roommate anymore. Guys, I used to never go to therapy. I go to therapy 5 times a week. Anything he does infuriates me. It doesn't annoy me. It doesn't bother me. It infuriates me. This guy could leave one of the plates on the dining table and I will have to slow my breathing down and learn some breathing techniques because I don't want to get angry. Flush the toilets. Imagine not flushing the toilets after you go to the toilet.
Let me tell you why I don't have roommates. I had roommates before I moved to my new place and I love them. I would live with them again. But before them, I was living with a bunch of my girlfriends in college and we had all graduated, but 2 of us decided to stay. We were going to take over the rent naturally, but the electricity bills remained in one of our roommates' names still. Now, when I moved into this house, I specifically said I didn't want to have my name on any bills because I had a bad track record with roommates who just didn't pay the bill or pay me for the bill, and then I got stuck with that check. So anyway, it's summertime and there's probably like 2 more months left before my other roommate and I are about to move out. And I came home from the hospital one day because I was working as a pharmacy technician at the time and the lights were out. No electricity, couldn't charge my phone, food going bad in the fridge. I remembered that we were getting letters in the mail addressed to this person for the light bill. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to open people's mail because that's a crime. But I committed a crime that day and I don't care. I opened her mail because I asked her if we could open it and she said no, just send it back to her, but I just never did because I didn't have the time. So I opened the mail and they said that your light bill is like 3 to 4 months past due. Now, how is it past due when we've been paying you for the bills? Long story short, she was spending the light bill money instead of paying it. So what I did was I just called the light company and said, this person doesn't live here anymore. She could deal with that. That's not my problem anymore. But it just showed me how trifling people can be, especially like people who are afraid to vocalize when they're going through something. Like we were friends. She could have said she was going through something and we would have helped her out, but she didn't. Instead, she decided to leave us for dead and I didn't like that. So yeah, I don't have roommates because I want peace of mind. And I value my peace. The next roommate I will have is my husband.
This is why I say when you live with a friend, you really have to think about it because that situation can spiral in
do not move in with him. Take it from me. Do not move in with him. Please, ladies, if you've never lived alone and had your own apartment, do not move in with a guy. If you've only been dating for less than a year or 2, do not move in with him. Like, these men are so different once you're behind closed doors with them. It's insane. It's like they have like this complete switch once they get comfortable, a different level of comfortable with you. Do not move in with them. If you're in your early 20s, enjoy your early 20s. You have the rest of your life to move in with a man. Do not do it now.
I was great at just still thinking.
But I think that's one thing I picked up about you quite early living together. Not that your energy was shift, that just that you
I wear my heart on my sleeve.
There's a lot of layers to you.
Yeah.
And if you were to take Wumi in on a night out or take Wumi in at a dinner, there's a danger, not just with you, just with people in general, there's a danger of taking that one experience that you've had with someone and then
making that like their full
and then like making that everything about them.
Yeah, no.
And the danger with that is if there is situations, you then start thinking, oh, well, she's fake or she's this or she's not that kind of person, but actually this is why it's important to really develop those friendships with people, and that's living together does that in a very rapid way, that you kind of, I watch people a lot.
Yeah.
So it didn't take me long to pick up on the fact that, okay, she might be like this outside, but indoors, this is her indoors
channel. Thank you so much for clicking. Kindly subscribe to this beautiful channel. So in today's video, we are talking about why you should not move in with your friends. So I just want to talk about this, and I had to put the videos together so that you watch and learn. Now I'm here just to share my choosings. So I know a lot of people have a thought about at some point moving in with your friends. It might seem like the ultimate dream, living in with your friends, besties, having fun all the time and avoiding the awkwardness of random roommates. But there's a lot more to consider before taking this big step. In this video, I'm going to break down why moving in with your friends might not be the best idea. The first thing to consider or to think about is how living together will change the dynamics of your friendships. Being friends and being roommates are two very different things that you need to know. When you're friends, you hang out when you want to, and there's usually an understanding that you both have your own space, okay? But when you move in together, you are sharing a living space, and that can lead to conflict over things like cleanliness, noise, and personal habits. These small issues can add up over time and put a strain on your friendship. Another big factor is that everyone has different living habits and expectations. Maybe you are a neat freak and your friend is more laid back about cleaning, or perhaps you are an early riser and your friend is a night owl. These differences can become sources of tension if not addressed beforehand. It's easy to overlook these things when you are just hanging out, but they become much more significant when you're sharing a space 24/7. Money is another area where things can get complicated. Friends might assume that because they are close, they'll always be able to work things out when it comes to rent, bills, or other expenses. But money issues can quickly lead to resentment if one person feels like the other one carrying more of the financial burden. It's important to have a clear agreement in place before moving in together. But even then, things can get tricky if someone's financial situation changes. Living in with friends can also create pressure to always be on socially. When you live with a friend, you might feel obligated to spend more time together, even when you need some alone time. This can lead to burnout, where you start to feel overwhelmed by the constant social interactions. It's important to have boundaries and make sure that you both have a space to recharge, but this can be difficult to navigate without causing hurt feelings. Perhaps the biggest risk of moving in with friends is the potential to lose the friendship. If things go wrong, living together can reveal sides of each other that you didn't see before, and not all of those sides might be compatible. If conflict arises and are not handled well, it can lead to breakdowns of the friendship. Sometimes it's better to keep the friendship intact by not living together and avoiding the potential fallout. So, should you move in with your friends? It's a tempting idea, but it's important to consider all the potential downside before making that big decision. Living with your friends can put a lot of pressure on your relationship. It's not always worth the risk of damaging a good friendship. Make sure you have those honest conversations, set boundaries, and think carefully about whether this is the right move for both of you. So I know one time I was living in with my friends. Okay, so we are renting an apartment. Everyone who had their own space, like their own room, but we could use the same kitchen and the same bedroom. So I never really had problems with other of my friends, but only one person was having an issue with us. Everyone could clean from kitchen, bedroom, the living room, and everywhere else, okay, including the toilets and everything. They could do it in time, but when it's at 10, she was very angry, and sometimes she couldn't even clean. She should just leave it like that. Okay, then she goes to town or she goes somewhere. So that didn't even sit well with all of us. Like, man, we always clean, like we clean this house. So one day we had a meeting, like telling each other, you guys, we need to do this. So she didn't change. So one day it was too much. I had to talk to her. I had to tell her that you just have to be doing this, because everyone is cleaning. So you can't be living in a dirty space every time when it's your day you don't clean. Okay, she was very angry. She shouted at me, like we had a very bad talk like that. Then I decided, okay, I can't do this anymore. So I had to move out. Like, I need to have my own space. Why should I be living with people? And I feel like I can't just do this. I love my clean room. I love clean everywhere, and some people are not like that. So we should be having like these fights. I can't take it anymore. So it was the best decision ever, which I gave myself. So I had to move out and start living alone on my own space, and it was lovely. They just used to come visit and go. That was better rather than us living together. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. Bye bye.